The purchase invoice from the previous demo is posted with an old exchange rate. So now it's time to update the currency exchange rate and to process the differences. Let me show you how this works. So first I will go to currencies. Let me select euro and let's go and have a look at the exchange rates. So I will click on process exchange rates. So in here you can see the exchange rate that is used when posting the document. And you can see indeed that's a rather old one. It's one from January 1st, 2017. So now we need to update the exchange rate. Now notice, and this is also explained in one of the previous units, you can run the exchange rate service to do this. So this will automatically get the exchange rates from a web portal or a web source using web services. That's of course something very interesting, something very useful in real life. However, for this demo, because I'm using specific demo dates, I will enter the exchange rate manually. So let me do this. So I will go to the currency exchange rates window. I will enter the date. So let's take, for example, April 10, 2019. And then I will enter an exchange rate of, for example, 0.8806 and also 1. So there you go. So this is my new exchange rate. And now we need to process, of course, the differences because the local currency amount calculated with the old exchange rate is not the same anymore as the local currency amount calculated with the new exchange rate. So let's have a look at how we can do this. So in here from the list of currencies, I can click on process and I can then run the adjust exchange rate batch shop. So first of all, we can enter a starting date and an ending date, but it's best practice to leave the starting date field blank and to just enter the ending date. So now we'll use the same date as my exchange rate, although you don't have to. Then the posting description, the posting date, and then the document number. Then there are two options. So the first one is to adjust the customer, vendor, and bank accounts. The second one to adjust GL accounts for the additional reporting currency. Now the additional reporting currency is explained in one of the other units, and I will not enable this for this example. And then finally, you can also filter on currency code. You don't have to, but for this example, let me just use filter euro, and then we can click on OK. So now the exchange rate differences are processed and posted. That's very important. So the system will automatically post to the general ledger. So let's have a look at the results. And first of all, I would like to check the GL entries, which is something that I can do by going to the GL registers. And here at the top, you can see a line that uses the exchange rate adjustment source code. So this means that this is the line that the system created when processing the exchange rate differences. So let's double check. I will click on process general ledger. And here you can see the general ledger entries the system has created. So it posted to the currency exchange rates GL account and to the receivables GL account, the payables, because it's a vendor, to the payables GL account. All right, let's also double check the vendors, because that's also interesting. So I will go to vendors, and I will of course take my new vendor Castle chairs. And you can already tell by looking at the total balance in dollar, because this amount now changed. So let me drill down to the vendor ledger entry. So we of course still have one vendor ledger entry with the same euro amount. So in euro nothing has changed, but the dollar amount did change. Now the interesting thing is that by clicking on the amount, the system will show me the detailed vendor ledger entries, and there you can perfectly analyze what happened. So the first one is the initial entry with the amount posted with the old exchange rate, and then you see that the system has created an entry of the entry type unrealized loss with the difference between the old and the new exchange rate. So that's the way that Business Central processes these exchange rate differences on vendor and customer entry level.